All right, so if you guys don't know, basically, unfortunately for Phoenix, the Suicide, they kind of announced, Rocksteady did via Twitter, that Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has officially been delayed to, what is it, February 2024. Here's a little tweet that they kind of had for you, but sorry Phoenix.
Yeah,
That goes
that's a
straight
big
to zero,
zero.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought about trying to plead with you guys about some way to switch it up. I'm just going to take the L here. I mean, I think I was already on the downward trend. Like, what was it? Kerbal was already looking kind of shoddy. This, I think, this is just that nail in the coffin for me. Like, to be fair, though, at least, or on the upside, Resident Evil 4, people have been loving. So at least that was one good pick on my end. But yeah, so 0 for me. I mean, I'll tell you, I wasn't sure if I thought the game was going to rank incredibly high. I think we've talked about it. I was mostly banking on the fact it's Rocksteady, they make solid games, maybe that would kind of, pull it through, but I wasn't expecting them to delay it nearly a year. So,
well, again, I think I mentioned it, but like I thought it was a bad pick when you picked it, simply because I just thought it wasn't going to be a great game, but I did not expect for it to get delayed. I think everyone's kind of shocked that this game's not coming out this year, considering, yeah.
Like, why? I think is the biggest question. Like,
they've got to be possibly attempting to pull out all the, I don't see how, but the microtransaction currency type things. Maybe they're trying to dial it back.
I don't know. They're of course saying that's not it. It's all about polishing the game. That's a lot of extra time for polishing a game that apparently was almost ready, or should have been out like right now. So I don't know if I believe that it's all polishing. They're definitely doing some level of reworking. They're not going to rework the entire core of the game. Like, that's just not feasible. It could be inking out the live service stuff, but how do you do that? Like, you've seen this game. You've seen the system it's built on. It's a looter shooter. Like, you're getting gear, and it's upgrading it, and so on and so forth. Like
the gameplay probably is already watered down a little bit, simply to kind of work with that type of gameplay, like you're saying. So it's like, if you pull out that aspect, it's like, well, what do you have left? You have some kind of soulless.
It's gonna feel like Gotham Knights, I think. Like, where I think that's probably what happened to Gotham Knights, right? They already had this system in place that was very microtransaction-y with their loot system, and then someone's like, we can't do a looter shooter, and then yanked out the live service. So you have this weird component left in, it's not a single player game, but a non-live service game that doesn't really fit. I think that's what you're going to end up here with. I'm trying to think what the benefit's going to be too. Like, say they do that, say they are successful in yanking out the live service aspect and even changing the loot system. Like, is that going to save them here? Like, are people then going to be all favorable towards this game? Because honestly, the biggest thing I've seen people be very much against is just the straight up gameplay. Right? They saw the gameplay trailer, like, ooh, I don't really like that. And that's their big rationale for why they don't want to go and buy this game. So I'm saying people are up in arms a little bit about the live service thing, but I don't think that's the biggest issue for the game. So I don't know. I don't feel like this is going to sway anybody's opinion too much.
It's part of the problem of just chasing trends, It's like when this probably got put into development, or they came up with the idea, stuff like Valorant and all of that stuff is the hot thing, and it's like, you go into a couple of years and now there's only so many people in the world. How many of these live service games can have millions and millions of players?
Think about that for how many MMOs are out there and that are successful. Like, there's plenty of people out there that would play a game like this. I think it's the money grubbing aspect of certain aspects that really get to people. You got to think, like, I don't know if it's that they were trend chasing, but a game takes how many years to develop. So go back, say, 5 years where this game was starting to go into pre-production. Destiny was at its peak, right? And that was the model everybody was shooting at. Destiny is still doing very good right now. So it's not that live service is a trend. It's all about execution, right? Executed the right way with good incentive to continue playing, with a good gameplay hook, people would be into a live service game. Like The Division 2, people are really into. And there have been other games like it that I don't think it's inherently live service equal bad. We've seen very bad implementations of it lately. You had the Avengers. There was something else that came out not too long ago, though. Anthem.
Anthem.
You've had these really big flops I think have left a bad taste in people's mouth. but doesn't mean inherently live service is bad. Like in many ways, live service can be really good, right? You get constant updates, you get new content refreshed all the time, and if the monetization scheme isn't super money grubbing, people can buy into it. Like I spent too much money in Destiny because I was caught in that hook, and they just kept feeding me more content, and I kept giving them $1 for a new skin. So, and I didn't care. I mean, I was happy with what I was getting. So, I don't know. I don't disagree with what you're saying. They definitely were trying to hop on the live service bandwagon, but I'm not necessarily saying that was a bad thing. It's hard to say.
I think why so many people are turned off, especially someone like me, why in particular I'm turned off, is like it's the fact that it's Rocksteady. Like it's like Rocksteady was coming off of like one of the most successful game, trilogies over the last like 10-15 years with 3 Arkham games, which fair, like the third one wasn't like totally beloved, but it was still a really good game.
Good. Yeah.
And it's like you just kind of wasted that. It's like I don't think anyone who was like already on the Rocksteady boat was not looking for this.
I think that's why I wanted to give them the benefit of the doubt here, because I knew it was Rocksteady. I'm like, you know what? Maybe with the Rocksteady quality and spin on it, this would work. But it almost seems like they're going more the BioWare side of things, where they had a lot of goodwill, some great games, and then something happens. I don't know if it was necessarily a Rocksteady decision or if this was like a higher up decision that shifted the focus of this game into what it is, but I don't know. Regardless, I'm taking a big 0 on this. I can't imagine I have any shot in this Olympics now, unless somehow both of you have a game that bottoms out, but we shall see.
Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. It is... Okay, so just so everyone can see, it looks like... So Resident Evil 4 Remake for you right now, as of the 16th, was at a 93. You've got an 80 right now for Fire Emblem, and then Suicide Squad delay. So who knows what's up with Kerbal?
And they'll bring Suicide Squad in like December 31st as a big surprise. It's not going to happen.
Your whole thing, it's still resting on Zelda.
There's no way, even if Zelda got 100, I can't imagine.
Link's holding up your...
If you got a perfect score, which no game ever gets a perfect score, balance it out against a 0, I have 2 50s sitting there. So unless you guys have some really awful picks, which I don't think either of you do, like unless you get hit with a delay, you both have pretty solid picks overall between Diablo and Baldur's Gate.
Gamer doesn't have one out yet, yeah.
Yeah, but all of yours look pretty solid, unless you get delayed, which I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, maybe with the final... Maybe with the 7 remake, or whichever, whether we're calling it Rebirth, something.
Yeah. My one I have is sitting at somewhere in the early 80s.
Yeah, which is still that's solid.
So good.
Oh well. Start thinking about what terrible game you want me to play. Metal's already said he wants me to play a horror game, which for those who don't know my lore, I hate horror games. They don't set well with me. Do you recall the day we tried to play, what was it, Amnesia co-op, where I did the keyboard and you did the mouse? That still creeped me out.
You kept running away. Like, I would go forward, he goes, no. And I'm like, trying to walk in a specific direction.
I was good for most of it till we got to that water section, in the dungeon, like some...
Yeah, with the water
so I'm not looking forward to whatever you guys make me play.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, I just remembered what my thing I wanted to say.